We have to be very clear, and I do appreciate that you're now coming to the realization, we all are, that this is not about me, you, government, opposition, etc., or which agency, which interagency issue. It's really about Pakistan, and that's how the issue is framed internationally. They are not interested in who's not talking to who's scoring which point. So I think it's time for us to be cognizant of the very clear and present danger we face internationally. Isolation is the least of our issues. I think we've come out of that, but very suddenly through this incident, and it's a very unfortunate incident, I think everyone has acknowledged that, we have been plunged into the middle of the eye of a brewing storm. We need to take not just our country, but our people out of it. There is clear and present danger in not any predator, not from any predator. You can, through the effective use of diplomacy, the correct tools, policy instruments, public statements, which you're talking about articulating, we can obviously navigate ourselves out of this crisis. This is the challenge.
You do believe that we can?
Of course, that is what statements like policy entails, and I think that's what we must do.
We haven't seen that yet, Ms. Rehman. We have seen no evidence of any leadership.
No,
and I'll be critical here.
Yes,
I have not seen that leadership from the opposition. I have not seen it from the government.
No. Now what you're seeing is a nation coming to grips with a very harsh reality. I think that we were all in a state of multiple shock, including the media, and so they kind of also were looking and shooting in the dark. My point is that it's very important. You mentioned this point about everybody being on one page now. It's very important for all civilian, military, other institutions, including the media, for us to try and be on one page. And I think for the political class, I don't think that it is appropriate this time for the government to expect to go it alone. It's got to carry the parliament with it. It is that big and I would say challenging an issue, and you've defined the contour.
We don't need pot shots being taken. If I can move,
I think we move beyond that. That's perhaps a knee-jerk reaction, and I think we should really not waste our time in assessing who took which shot at when.
Okay, but I do have to bring this up because Sardar Sahab,
Katrina, they are going to sit with us in Parliament, and they are going to be equal partners in articulating and developing a policy. We already have one. No, we already have one, and I think government must wait till Parliament has decided together.
Okay, Sardar Sahab, so far Chaudhry Nisar's comments yesterday, followed by a very ugly series of statements back and forth between the Pakistan People's Party and the PMLN, in which your party is now being accused of having been in cohorts. I don't like to use the word accomplice, but definitely associated with Osama bin Laden in the 90s. Do you think we need that at this time? And does your party really feel that this is now time to come clean on your policy?
I think our party has been very straightforward on this issue. The Prime Minister presented his point of view, the government's point of view, and unfortunately it was in English, which most of the people in Pakistan do not understand. And if we were conveying this entire speech to the international community, that is a different issue.
I hate to be blunt, sir, but there was nothing in that speech, whether in Urdu or in English.
Whatever the case is, but and rightly, I think leader of the opposition did point out his speech was not televised like the Prime Minister's speech. In fact, that should have also been televised. Agreed. So that his viewpoint, the points that he had raised, the apprehensions that he had raised, I think these need to be addressed.
Do you think Chaudhry Nisar raised the right apprehensions? I'm going to be ask perhaps a very difficult question over here. We talk about Pakistan's sovereignty. We are talking about our pride, our prestige, our honor. And it seems very clear that the rest of the world thinks we don't deserve it.
Well, I think, as you had rightly said initially, that we have to stand on our own feet to make the world realize that we are a nation, we are a knit together nation, and during disasters we've seen Pakistan unite. Why can't we unite on this issue? But it is important for the government of Pakistan, who are at the helm of affairs, to come out quick not to waste the kind of 7 days have been wasted in this issue. It should have come much earlier. What are we trying to hide? What are we trying to conceal? Are we trying to conceal what Musharraf did? Today in one of the newspapers there's an article about Musharraf agreeing with the Americans to let them enter Pakistan.
Yeah, let me just, for our viewers who may not know about it, ladies and gentlemen, there was a report in a British newspaper, The Guardian, that said that President Musharraf had reached an agreement with the then government in the United States, President Bush, after 9/11, that Pakistan would not object if America carried out a unilateral action to recover bin Laden from Pakistani territory, that we would raise a hue and cry, but it would die down. Now, since then, General Musharraf has denied that statement.
I think his denial is not good enough, because as you see that during that period also there were these drone attacks, and there were protests from here, and nothing went after that.
Before we go to change subject, the question really was that Firdaus Ashikawan, the current Federal Information Minister, the Federal Interior Minister Rahman Malik, have accused the PMLN of having been at least consorting, hanging out with bin Laden in the mid-90s. Now, that's a serious charge.
We will accept the responsibility if they show us evidence, but let them show us evidence.
Okay.
It's very easy to accuse people, but you have to show evidence. This is a very serious allegation which they're trying to put, but we are very clear, we are not even thinking about those things. Let them bring out these accusations, but we are very clear that we are not for terrorism. I mean, any Pakistani, whether it's any political party or a Pakistani, but the entire nation is in a state of depression at this moment.
Absolutely.
People are asking questions. What happens, God forbid, if it happens again, where do we stand? It took 1.5 hours for the entire operation. They enter from Afghanistan, the helicopters are not jets, they fly in, 40 minutes operation takes place, and they fly back. 1.5 hours, and we didn't respond. Our radars were jammed, God knows what happened.
What would you have liked the response to be?
Sorry?
What would you have liked the response to be?
Well, I think coming into Pakistan territory without authority, without Pakistan knowing, that itself is a crime. We should move to the United Nations.